Hey guys, welcome back to Chaotic TV. We are bringing you some replays from IronSquid Chapter 2, and in the top right on Daybreak, from Group G of that tournament, we have the Pink Zerg, EG's Stephano, formerly Millennium.
And spawning across from him is MouseSports, MaNa, playing as the green Protoss in this match.
And you may think we sound a little different because I myself have a raging head cold, and Eclipse over here had some holiday chicanery with his lippage.
Ended up with an injury.
Oh man.
We're gonna play through the pain here and cast games for you anyway.
Yes, we are. A decent New Year. Let's hope the rest of the year does better than the decent New Year. Being sick, I hope, is not a bad omen. But I did just travel cross country again. I got stuck in freaking Vegas over on my leg up over the country. I can't speak at all.
It's such a terrible place to be stuck.
Well, I spent $45 on slots before my plane got there. It's the same problem I have with gambling in Vegas to begin with. It's just that, you know, even the most simple things, that when you're playing against other people, like a pair of aces will win you stuff. It'll win you a lot of stuff when you're playing against people. We have some minor probe harassment from MaNa, but in Vegas,
harassing right back.
In Vegas, a pair is called a push, and the house, it's basically even up against the house, and nobody wins. So the most common things, which are only 1 in 20 for a pair in poker, is a 1 in 20 shot. You're not going to be able to get any money for that. So, oh my God, Stephano's hatch is being very expertly delayed by MaNa's probe, but he did finally get it down, and he has the nexus of his own building, the forge.
Yeah, he went nexus first. He's not scared of this at all. Every Protoss player who's played recently knows how to expand nexus first against anything but like a 6 pool or a 10 pool. So
I imagine that Stephano will be going for that fast third to try and catch up on the time that he lost in that hatchery.
Yeah, it's almost always what you're gonna see, unless he has some crazy all-in planned out, either for the map specifically or for the matchup specifically. It's just gonna be, you know, trying to get to the third and do the macro thing. You can see his Zerlings already coming down here to make sure there's no pylons or anything on the drone right behind. So.
Yep, and he's just waiting for that extra 50 minerals. And we have the partial wall off starting for MaNa. I wonder what MaNa's. I'm not so used to him, but we do see double gas coming out of him right now. I'm curious as to what he's going to be doing.
He has all the builds at his disposal. Well, we're seeing a whole lot of Stargate play early on, out of Protoss players. I haven't seen MaNa play it personally. You know, I'm sure he's a pro player. I'm sure he can. I think we're gonna see some heavy gateway though, if I had to guess.
Yep. It's Stephano, very just casually. He doesn't really train. He just knows his stuff and pulls stuff out of his butt all the time, and essentially wins just by sheer bravado. Sometimes it's kind of amazing, but always a fun player to watch. And MaNa, MouseSports, who spawned Thorzane, who's now also EG on Stephano's team, is a well-known Terran, of course, but we do see 2 bays coming out of MaNa, and finally, just now seeing some gases coming out of Stephano. I think he'll build a 3rd one, maybe, or if he doesn't, he's just going to go into some 3-base roach play for a little bit and then move into something else.
He likes to get his economy established and then go into just massive amounts of units. So I think it wouldn't be too surprising to see MaNa go into Colossi relatively early, or just push out a bunch of Immortals.
I could definitely see that coming. We do see +1 coming down, so maybe it's going to be a 3-gate +1, or we see a Robo coming down, so 3-gate Robo. Maybe we'll see some more Prism play. Again, I'm not too familiar with MaNa, although I know he is a very well-known Protoss, and we do see a Roach Warren popping down for Stephano. And this Overlord gets taken out in MaNa's base, hard capping Stephano.
Yeah. I mean, MaNa hasn't missed a beat here in his unit production. He's already at 44 probes, so and he's going to keep going. So I think he'll be playing towards taking a third base there to keep up in economy with the Zerg player.
Yeah, I think we are going to see some heavy roach production. We see only one Evo down, which we'll see +1 missiles coming out of, and the layer will get us speed roaches. Essentially, that's what its purpose is for, besides getting us extra upgrades later in the game when he transitions. And we do see 6 roaches coming out right now, and a macro hatch. Pardon my sniffle, because one's coming.
Yeah, he's got up to 4 gases. We'll probably see him jump into 5 and 6 about the time he wants to start making infestors, which can happen any time depending on what he feels like doing from this point. He needs to get an army ready right now, though, because a few things could come out of the protest at this point. There's some really wicked timings with Immortals and Sentries and just gateway units to support, but instead we're seeing MaNa go up to that third base.
Yep.
Which was a little bit foreshadowed by the extra probes coming out before.
Right, and Observer is getting to see all of what Stephano is doing, because there are no overseers to speak of. And one is getting morphed right as I say that. But this overseer will see everything, and essentially there's a lot of money coming in for MaNa right now. It looks like he might be doing the variant delayed push of the Immortal Sentry, but those force fields have to be perfect, otherwise it's going to be total failure.
A huge spike in supply right now with all these roaches streaming out of Stephano's base. I would be surprised to see him go up and hit the third if he doesn't think he can do any damage at the front, because he just has so many roaches coming across the map right now.
With all these forces kind of out of position and the huge amount of money spent walling off that third base, it might actually be more beneficial to go for the second, or for the natural. But he will have to get a good concave and get in there before all the force fields do. He might be able to pick off his +1. Baiting 2 force fields out of MaNa. He's got 3 Immortals, which will do immense damage to any roaches that get anywhere near them. So Stephano's going to pull back a little bit. In this case, you know, against Immortals, I love seeing Nidus and drop play used, because they are mobile, but you know, essentially they are still slower than your average pack of units. They're not blink stalker quick. They're not anything like that.
He's just now seeing all the photon cannons at the third, so that's going to deter him from attacking him there, at least for the time being. He's also taking his 4th behind this and just getting his supply cap up. Apparently he wants some overlords here.
Yeah, he's MaNa's getting blink, and he's getting +2, is about to finish. Pathogen glands coming out for the infestors. Those will lock down a bunch of sentries and allow the excuse me, the roaches to get in there and do some damage. But a whole bunch of links coming out.
With this heavy Immortal play this late into the game, I would actually like to see Stephano go into Neural Parasite here, because if you can neural a couple of Immortals and make them fight against each other, that's just a huge boon to your fighting power in your army.
Oh, I can imagine. We see 7 infestors coming out. The 4th base, indeed. I wonder if he'll put down another macro hatch, but it doesn't look like he has the funds to do it. +1 Carapace and +1 melee coming out. It's an interesting choice, because that means he's going to move into Broodlord play instead of something else like Hydra Roach Infestor. And the roaches were just to protect in that mid game, and now he's really going to attack towards the late game, with the hive going to come down very soon, and this spire's already been started.
Yeah, he's not rushing to Broodlords. If you're going to do that, the spire and the hive start at the exact same time, so he's not super concerned with tight timings. He wants to focus more on his map control here, and then get to his tech, you know, soon enough. So you have a bunch of spines going down at that 4th base location. This is where the big defense always has to happen for Zerg players, whether it's after losing your army and waiting for it to remax, or just where they attack in at. Those are 2 scenarios, and either way you want the spine colors around that base.
I had noticed that this was the original version of the map with only the half base, where the normal 4th is. and if he wants any more than it looks like he took it mainly for the gas, and if he wants any more kind of production out of it, he's going to have to build a 5th down in the bottom right, or expand to one of the middle placements.
Oh, this is a rich geyser.
Oh, it is? Is that why they do the half base? Interesting.
Yeah, there's 6 at a time coming out of there. A little bit of an engagement in the middle here, just some Zerglings running into that huge Protoss army.
This huge Protoss army, which just is spawning 8 Templar and has +3 weapons. And a whole lot more Zerglings coming in, while +2 ground and
adding Zarkons in to deal with, to give him the splash damage that he doesn't have. You really need that when you don't have Colossus, otherwise they can do some serious damage with just Zerglings and really slow you down pretty much infinitely. Zerglings are practically free at this point in the game.
Oh, we don't see any Corruptors as of yet, but we do see a Greater Spire coming in. I imagine we'll see a number of Corruptors come in as
well, he's
after
max,
this,
so can't make them.
After this battle, he loses some supply. Big fungals going down on this entire base. The Zerglings are streaming in, but these force fields are keeping all of these full energy infestors back, so they did launch some infested Terrans. The Archons are sucking up a huge amount of damage, doing 7 kills apiece. Immortals 7 and 12 kills apiece, and finally getting pushed back by the just number of roaches in the infested Terrans. The majority of Stephano's army was held back by those force fields, but he has remaxed relatively quickly with 15 more roaches on the way. Adrenal glands, always a good upgrade, and +2 melee and carapace is coming in right now. Big blink forward, trying to pick off some of these infestors, and the spines are trying to relocate before the immortals can take them all out. But more infested Terrans are just free energy for these units, and they just run away now, while there's a huge warp in of elites and stalkers coming in one more time. We
see MaNa getting ready to step towards the mothership to get his vortex set up. He just threw his Stargate down. He knows what's coming. It's going to be Infestor Broodlord. There's no two ways of avoiding it at this point in the game.
Big skirmish right in the 12 o'clock position on this map. Stephano's trying to take out this pylon. He did not get it before all of these zealots warped in, and all of these roaches probably will get picked off unless he micros them out of the way, but it looks like he might be doing something at home instead. Now he's going for these immortals to pick them off for the last point, while MaNa has dropped significantly in supply, and this last immortal is going to be chased around by some waves. Wow,
yeah, this was a really even fight for both players. The only real criticism I saw out of all that, I mean, not that I'm super amazing at this or anything, but I don't think MaNa had to lose his warp prism. He could have taken it out of there and brought it around to the main or the natural and warped in some zealots or something while the fight was happening and got some extra free damage in there. But instead he just lost it to sitting over the top of infested Terrans.
Yeah, he's got another warp prism coming in as a fleet beacon for that mothership, Protoss air weapons level 2, and Stephano has a 5th base coming down right now, while all of the minerals in MaNa's main base are being mined out right now, and he's going to really start losing some income if he doesn't expand himself. Another 2 Stargates coming in. He might be switching to carriers completely, and we do have how many Broodlords? 5 Broodlords on the map right now, and 4 Corruptors with 5 more coming in, and air carapace started, as well as 3/3 for the ground.
Now, I don't understand the switch to air. He doesn't have the economy to support it right now. His income isn't high enough.
MaNa?
Yeah, MaNa. He does have. He's getting upgrades for air and shields, and there's the carriers starting now, as well as the graviton catapult. I guess he's just going to try to catch him off guard and hope that all of his Corruptors are already morphed into Broodlords. Yeah,
that's a big chance he's got right there. It's transferring all of his probes right now to that 3rd base, which is going to be over saturated until this new 4th in the top left gets going. What do you think of his use of immortals rather than colossi for that big battle, for that huge engagement?
It worked out brilliantly for him. I mean, the army composition was so many roaches, and those immortals tear through them really quickly. As long as you can avoid their AI taking over and firing at infested Terrans, you're just going to win the battle. And they kill infestors in 2 or 3 hits as well, so...
We've got, we're going to be having what looks like 15 Broodlords on the map, and I don't even know how many infestors. Not so many. So he's going to be supporting these Broodlords with just a ground army.
He doesn't have the anti-air to deal with these first round of carriers, and it's going to be pretty much an ideal situation and exactly what MaNa was hoping for when he did the tech switch into anti-air. So this is going to be, this first battle is going to be a lot in his favor until he loses supply and adds more corruptors, which is happening right about now. He just lost a bunch of Zerglings on the runarounds.
Stephano is aware that there is a 5th base down right now, or a 4th base down for MaNa, which not having that central base does kind of like give it a bit of a weird placement, having all of these bases stretched out, whereas Stephano is kind of centered around his 4th central base.
Yeah, this is more normally how you'd see it on this map with the whole base in the middle.
And MaNa has to run back and forth if he really is. But some Lings actually did get into the middle, so Stephano now knows that there are carriers coming, and he has started upgrading Flyer Carapace level 2 and has 7 more Corruptors coming out to combat these carriers.
And you can see that Rich Vespine guys is already almost mined out, so the stuff comes out of it so much faster.
Oh, big spine push into this bottom left part. He's going to be taking out all of these.
Yeah, he wants to take this base here.
Yeah, and it's going to be easy access for those brand new carriers, but with all of the Corruptors and Investors there, he can do some.
Yeah,
some
I wouldn't be surprised to see. I mean, we just saw 7 drones in production. I'd be surprised to see those come down here and turn into Spore Crawlers. Like, he needs that kind of static defense around these bases, especially with how slow his Broodlord army is.
Yeah. And MaNa and Stephano are going up to max again. And MaNa's ground army is still only 113 with 3 being in attack, but the plasma shields have been started to upgrade, and a huge number of full energy Templar are here to do some damage. And all of these Broodlords are going to do nothing. Big fungals on the carriers, but they're not doing so much. There's a huge number of infestors just were lost. Big storms on all these clumped up Corruptors. They're going to take some heavy damage if they keep getting stormed, and the Archons are there to take them all out. The carriers are dropping like flies. Only 2 left after this one just get targeted down. But now the Broodlords are doing their damage against these Archons and against the Stalkers and Templar in the bottom left. But we only saw 2 lost spine crawlers, and these carriers are trying to remake all the interceptors they can. But there are no more infestors on the map. I think only
carrier with 8 health, and those are you can hit it. Oh,
look at all these. Oh, there we go. Big batch of Corruptors coming back in. 5 more just spawned, and they're chasing out this very last carrier, or not last one, but the last one in that fight. 3 more carriers, or 3 carriers are on the field right now, and I think MaNa's goose is cooked by the time that Stephano gets over here with all of his reinforcements. And a big cap in the middle. All these queens are here for some transfuses, but they're not going to be in range, and all the Broodlords are being taken out by Blink Stalkers and heavy storms from these Templar.
Storms everywhere right now.
Wow,
really good.
I love that play style, and all these. Everything's getting taken out eventually, and Stephano is the one that has the bank to back all of this up and remax, and MaNa has nothing, so he says GG. He wouldn't be able to remax before he loses one of his main mining bases. But that was game 1 between Stephano and MaNa, and we're going to go right into game 2 of IronSquid Chapter 2 Group G play. So we'll see you in just a second. From Chaotic TV, I am Chaotic.
This is Eclipse.
And we'll see you soon. Cheers. Hey guys.